So anyway, we're standing, in our places, looking at the stage. The opening band is wailing away on stage. Ted Nugent, okay? Exactly. Now, in this wonderful house tonight, maybe 1% of you or less have a Ted Nugent record. But a vast majority of you have an opinion of Ted Nugent because he is one of the most unsubtly quotable people on earth. He never goes, "Hi, I'm Ted Nugent, have a nice day." He just says really fucked, loaded stuff, and he divides people easily. Either you're into the guy or you're not. You can't be neutral on the topic of Ted Nugent if you've ever been in front of him talking, because he's just, well, a lot of people think he's a prick. I might be one of those people, but... So anyway, he's playing, and I have not seen the Nuge play for 25 years. Back in 1880, when I was a young man, me and my friends used to go for like $8.50 and go see Ted Nugent play at this 18,000 seat place called the Capitol Center. And we used to watch Nugent go on stage for 2.5 hours and break audiences into little tiny pieces. He was so good. And so now, 25 years later, I'm standing in front of Nugent, and he is playing his ass off. He's got the hollow body Birdland, he's rocking, he sounds great, he's singing well. I'm like, whoa, the Nuge, he can still do it. He's gotta be 50-something, and look at him up there, he's looking great. And so he comes to the end of the song, and he takes this beautiful gig, and he throws it right into the sewer. He starts talking, and he ruins it. "I'm gonna play so sexy tonight, I'm gonna have all the faggots eating pussy." 20,000 people go, "Oh, yeah." At least 3 men around me are like, "There's a faggot in here?" "No, we're okay, Nudes. We've swept the perimeter. No homos. Keep rocking." So the Nudes keeps playing, and he does 2 songs back to back, mercifully not saying anything. And then he comes to the end of the 2 songs, and he yells out, "If you don't speak English, get the fuck out of my country." I wanted to go home so bad right then. I'm like, that is so lame. That is so not rock and roll. I think if you don't know English and you live in a country that speaks English like America, like Australia, and you're a citizen here, don't leave. Just learn English. How long is it gonna take you? 90 minutes? Okay, English-speaking countries use like 1/zillionth of the English language. All you need is 20 phrases and 50 loose words, and you have mastered English. Fuck you, stop staring at my tits, I was here first, you're fired, stuff like that. Fuck you, yes, no, and you're in. So don't leave, just take your lunch hour and master English. And what was really encouraging was hardly anyone around me responded when Nugent said that. He got like 8 people out of 20,000 to go, because they were so high. They would have done the same thing if he said, "I'm wearing shoes." And so anyway, mercifully, he plays 3 more songs. He comes to the end of his gig, which is signified by a guitar coming out of the ground on a piece of wire. He takes a bow and arrow and shoots the guitar. 4 pieces of confetti fall out the back, and a barely audible explosion happens in the back of the guitar, like... And he got a checked woo from the crowd. Everyone went, "Woo. Get a budget, man. That was weak." So anyway, the Nuge leaves. And now there's the 20-minute space where, everyone has a chance to power party before Kiss takes the stage. And you see men in skin-tight shirts and skin-tight Levi's pulling 12 packs of beer out of their pants. Like... You see women in skin-tight tank tops pulling gallon jugs of booze out of their bras. People snuck in so much stuff. Men are setting up PCP labs, building the Great Pyramids of Giza, erecting rocket-powered grenade launcher tripods, all kinds of stuff, building stills to make their own Everclear. And men and women and children are ingesting substances at an incredible rate. Like, and within 8 minutes, everyone around me is like, and And then the skies darken, and I hear air raid sirens. Phantom jets come out of the sky and strafe the crowd with napalm. A human arm flies by me. The skies grow, red with thunder and fire and red smoke. And Kiss has taken stage. And it takes a full 50 seconds to a minute for the stage smoke and fire to clear so you can finally see them. And there they are, standing 7 feet high. And there's Gene Simmons picking people's pockets with his tongue, catching moths out of the air. And they're playing Detroit Rock City, one of the many guilty pleasure songs in the world. A song that in broad daylight you never admit to liking. Hey, what about Detroit Rock City? Oh, that's a stupid song. When you're alone, it comes on the car radio, you turn it really loud. You're like, fucking cool, man. You start driving faster, you kind of sing along. And we all have sung along to songs that we don't really know the words to, except for like 3 words in the chorus, which we sing with much gusto, And everyone has done that, and you usually do it at a really low volume. You're in the car and like, dream, the night. And it's always a really lame song. Some people call me the space cowboy. Yeah. And subba-dooba-da thing of love. Some people call me Maurice. Abba-soo, dabba-dooba-da of love. And if anyone ever recorded you doing this and played it really loud, you'd never come back to town. Because it's so embarrassing. Because you reveal so much of your soul, like shower singing, when all of a sudden you're Aretha Franklin or Marvin Gaye. What's going on? What's going on? If someone had a microphone, Big Brother, that'll cover it, everyone in the shower. But they'll be singing some lame bullshit like Jamiroquai. Anyway, hey, bitter old man, I can do what I want. So anyway, oh man, my senility's gonna be bitchin'. I think I'll start now. So anyway, when you do the equivalent at a rock concert when 150 dB are screaming in your face, it is so hilarious. There I am, screaming along to Detroit Rock City, a song I know at least 3 or 4 words of. I find myself rocking out to Kiss with my fist in the air. I do not remember at any time when I actually put my fist up there. I'm like rocking out, I'm like, what am I doing? What are you doing up there? I don't know, dude, they rock. And there I am singing, doing that same kind of bathroom singing at the top of my lungs. It was hilarious. I'm in this rock pose. I'm a star, show me how, boom, show my side, who the beat is like a who, ha, 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 ow! Get up, suma nama dupa sama, ha, get down, I'm a super lapa, ha, ha, who, ha! Our drummer looks over and catches me. And there's no way I can make it look like something else. I can't go like, boring. I was like, fuck it. Our drummer looks over at me and goes like, right on. Now you know. And so anyway, they come to the end of the song. It's punctuated with all this fire and smoke. Paul Stanley, the band's frontman, comes to the edge of the stage. He goes, San Bernardino! Ho, ho! I have always wondered why rock stars yell out the name of the city that they're performing in. All my life, 21 years on stage or longer, I've always been in places no bigger than this. And if I went, hello, Sydney, it would be so thoroughly insulting to you people. Because look behind you, you can see the exit door, the doorman, there's like 500 people here. We could all be on a first name basis in an hour. None of you are stupid, and you don't need to be reminded what city you're in. You all very well know. And so if I go, hello, Sydney, you're like, what are you talking about? We know where we are. Stop depersonalizing us. And so I've never done that unless I wanted a folding chair tossed at my head. And so there's Paul Stanley rather going, San Bernardino, ho, ho, ho. He turns into this rock epic. And it was at that moment I understood why big rock stars yell out the name of the city or the town that they're playing in. Because the people in the audience are so high, they don't know where they are anymore. When you are that stoned, you have the mindset of a goldfish. Every 35 seconds, hello, it's a brand new day. And so everyone's like, oh yeah, it's where's San Bernardino? Oh. And then Paul did something that was amazing. He looked right at me, pointed at me, and went, I love you. I must admit, I'll tell you the truth for once, I was very standoffish at first when Paul confessed his love to me. And I was like, you love me? You don't even know my name. Get fresh with me, Mr. Stanley. And it was interesting to me that he picked me out of thousands of people and in such a public way, you know. And so at first I rejected his amorous advances towards me. You know, I was like, stop it, sir, please. And so the band slams into another song that I magically know at least 3 words of, and there I am making a total ass out of myself, having the best time. There I am, Strutter to Muhammad, and people are looking at me like, ooh, la, la, la. We're just having the best time, and they play nothing but the greatest hits, and the band is running all over the stage like there's no tomorrow. And every single time someone goes into a lead, it's not like when you see bands these days, okay, it's time for me to do my solo. There's Paul Stanley, this guitar solo's for you, San Bernardino. I'm like, fucking A, I love these guys. And there's like fire and smoke with everything they do. 5 songs in, Paul has yelled out in front of everybody that he loves me 3 times now. And on the 3rd time, I love you. He wore me down. And I was unable to keep Paul's love out. I could no longer shut him out. And all that male, I have no feelings except hate and the need for food and sex, all that just kind of crumbled, and I let Paul's love into my heart. And I'm unable to get it out. And so for the rest of my life, I know I can do bad things, I can be a horrible person, but I will always have the love of Paul Stanley. And when I'm down to like nothing and I'm just have like 4 saltine crackers in a cardboard box near the bus station, it'll just be 4 crackers, a box, and Paul's love. And you know something? That'll be okay for me. So anyway, they go on, and they keep on doing nothing but the hits, and Gene Simmons spits fire out of his mouth, which is really cool. And then at one point, Gene, who's been like flashing his tongue all night, he stands still, and a roadie puts a cable into his back where we're not supposed to see that stuff. And all of a sudden he goes, ooh, and everyone's like, whoa, fucking Gene can fly. But everyone knew it was just a cable in a harness, and he goes like, and all of a sudden Gene Simmons is like 30 feet above us, and he's no longer doing his thing with the tongue. He's now has a whole different expression on his face. It's like this. When he's doing this bass solo. And we all know he's got something in his mouth. He's got a mouthful of cherry red corn syrup, which is supposed to be blood. And after the end of the bass solo, he's gonna go blah, and all the fake blood's gonna go all down his bib, and we're all gonna go, whoa. Now, Gene Simmons has been spitting corn syrup out of his mouth since 1858. And everyone at this show, except for me, has seen him do it minimum a dozen times. So you figure they'd be bored of it, and you figure Gene Simmons would be bored of it. No one was bored of it, not Gene Simmons. Me, I was becoming just a knot of anticipation, like, oh my God, here comes the blood. I totally was swept up in the theater of Gene Simmons, all this wild uplighting. His makeup is now like melting off his face. He looks utterly terrifying. He looks like this drunk kabuki doll. Like, and after the end of this bass solo, finally he goes, and the blood goes down. I was like, we all were like, whoa, fucking whoa. It's amazing theater. And it's just the way he presented it, because we all know it's corn syrup, but the way he does it was such gusto and bravado and passion. It was awesome. Anyway, they keep playing. He finally comes down, and all the time we've been getting nothing but rockin' TNA the whole night. There's two guys on stage with these cameras. They're continually roving the crowd, looking for hot chicks, and they see hot chicks, and they put the camera on the hot-looking girl, and the girl sees herself 80 feet high on the video monitor, and she's like, oh my God, and you see the recognition in her face, like, that's me, oh my God. You see her look at her face, like, look, that's me. Why do you women do that shit? Don't stop. It was amazing to see breasts 80 feet high. And me and every other pathetic guy's like, ugh. Please. It was hilarious. And everyone in the crowd like, woohoo! That shit was so cool, man. And it was just festive. There's boobs and the greatest hits and fire and corn syrup, and the band flew around the stage, and they're running around like it's their first ever gig. And you find out later, the youngest guy in Kiss is 51 years old. And they're kicking the ass off like every band I saw last year. They have more energy than like 1,000 of these other bands. And they're all like old men. So anyway, it comes to the point of the gig where they have to slow it down for a little bit, and the band leaves stage, except for the drummer. Peter Criss comes out from behind the drum set with a towel around his neck and a cordless mic. And he sits on the drum riser. Hey people, can I sing a song for you? Would that be all right? A tape machine plays Beth. No band, someone hits play. We're going to do karaoke Kiss with Peter Criss. If any other band did this, like what if a rock band came out and put on a tape and like played to it? You would be so thoroughly offended. You go, rip off, I want my money back. When Peter Criss sings Beth to a tape, it was so thoroughly endearing to me. Not one person around me went, hey, wait a minute, man, that's a tape. Everyone just went, I love this song. And we all had our fists in the air. And we're all singing along with Peter Criss. And the great thing about Peter Criss is Peter Criss cannot sing. Neither can we. So we were all in this very fucked up, fractured, note with him. Beth, I hear you calling. There's like all these men around me pouring their hearts out with this song. Everyone's in tears, but I can't come home right now. And I never really thought about the lyrics of Beth until that night. And if you think about the lyrics, you've all heard the song a million times, unfortunately. And there's this thing, about the lonely man calling his woman in the night. And he's calling from a lonely practice place. It's a rocker dude in a band, and he's calling Beth, who's somewhere out in the night. And he's telling her that he and the boys in the band have been playing, but they just can't find this sound. They cannot find the sound. This elusive sound is escaping them. And he just promises just a few more hours, and then he'll be back. But then, hark, he hears the boys in the band calling, and he beseeches Beth, Beth, what can I do? Beth, what can I do? And so I never really thought about the lyric, and it's a very gripping and kind of beautiful tale, and I never really thought about the subtext of this song. And now that I've been in a band for about 1,000,000 years, and I know a thing or three about dudes in bands, I now think of Beth totally differently. Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the boys are playing, and we just can't find the sound. How can you find the sound when you're fucking a stripper named Candy? You just can't do it. Just a few more hours, and I'll be right home to you. With some strippers spit drying on my dick, herpes scars and 4 incurable diseases on my wang. Beth, I hear them calling for more drugs and more whores. Beth, what can I do? Cave into peer pressure, you dumb rocker fuckhead. That's what I got out of the song that evening. But anyway, the band comes back on stage after this song, and like, how'd you like that, people? And then Paul Stanley tells us that not only does he love me, but that he wants to get closer to all of us. He goes, is it okay if I come out there and get closer to you? We're like, what the fuck is he talking about? Okay. He gets on this cable thing, and he flies like 100 feet over our heads, and like all of us, we wave to him, and then we wave as he goes back. How'd you people like that? We're like, fuck it, it was great. And so anyway, he's telling us that San Bernardino is the sole reason that Kiss has been able to realize their rock and roll dreams. Like, San Bernardino, you people have made our rock and roll dreams come true. 8 tons of, dynamite go off behind him. And finally, he comes out and he goes like, people, this is our last song for the night, and this is the last time we'll ever play Southern California, and you've been the best audience in the world. I damn nearly wept. I was so emotionally caught. This is the last time. Oh my God, this is history. This is history being made. And like, I love you too, Paul. Don't go away. And finally, Kiss, we're off stage, the confetti bombs exploded. We're all standing there waiting for the paper to come in. We're all covered in paper, blood, intestines, rock and roll. And we're staggering through this muddy, kind of misty field that is ripe with a smell of pot and vomit. And we're stepping over like just dead bodies, reptilian egg sacs born prematurely because of the DB level hitting the hips and just vomit. It's just basically the American low common denominator. And it was really intense. And so we're walking through, and the drummer in our band looks at me and goes, so, what'd you think? And I said, Jason, if I knew I was gonna have such a great time, I never, ever would have missed Kiss, ever. And he looked at me and went, welcome. Welcome to the family. I'm like, all right. And it was so great to see a band on stage rocking out with zero irony factor. They weren't like, putting on a show. Because you see bands these days, and they're somehow above rock. They have contempt for rock. Okay, here's our dumb ballad now. You're like, well, why'd you have to say that? Now I feel stupid for liking the ballad. It was my favorite song on your record, and you just called it stupid. So I can't like it anymore. So it was great to see a bunch of guys putting on a rock show. And there wasn't any like, here's one of our stupid songs. They went out there, this song is called Strutter, people. And they went into it, you're like, fucking A. I wish every band had that kind of commitment and passion to their music. And like Paul Stanley says, the coolest stuff between songs. Do you know what you people are? Fucked up. You people are animals! And it was so refreshing to hear that and see this rock spectacle. And I went back on tour to see like these pale bands on stage. Here's our next song, Raw. It's a single, I think. Jenga, Jenga, Jenga. Piss off. And I've got to open for these pricks, Rock and roll ninja, got to open. No one knows I ever play. And so we went right back out on tour after seeing this awesome rock spectacle. And we're off in Europe doing those Euro festivals where you play in these crazy eclectic bills you would never be on in the real world. And so there we are, playing in the afternoon. And right after us, Macy Gray goes on. Okay, like the rock, the R&B diva. Oh, she's wonderful, Grammy winning, the greatest thing to ever happen to magnetic recording tape since Ella Fitzgerald. She's just fantastic. Everyone bought that record. And there she is with like a 3-man horn section, a DJ, 3 amazing backup singers, a bass player, a guitar player, and a drummer who's playing with headphones on. Hired drummer was not on the record, and he's there with sunglasses on, with like headphones on, because he's playing to a click track. And so he's playing hired studio musician drum beats. Getting paid by the hour. No rhythm. Might as well be a machine. The backup singers are sweating their balls off. They are singing the entire gig because our Macy can't get more than a breath out every 5 minutes. If she ever happens to bump into the microphone, it looks like a mistake. Like, and the poor guitar player in the band is now the front man of the band. He's the one who has to like keep everybody in the audience awake. And they come to the end of a song, and the backup chicks have sung everything. And he goes, "How do you people like the Mason Gray Funk Show today?" And everyone stands there, so he has to show them how to clap. Like, there's like 22,000 Germans, and like 8 people go, "Yeah, it's okay. It's kind of boring for me, yeah? It's just, I think she's on the heroin or something, because she just seems to be falling over or something. But it is okay though, yeah. And so they go into another song, and there's Macy like, I can't do it. And she goes behind the drum riser and lies down on the drum riser right behind the drummer's stool, and she's out. And the band is on there, we're doing a song, and the leader of the band has gone. And then Arik, the guitar player, goes, "Okay, everyone, time for a bullshit solo. And it's time for DJ Fuckhead. I have no talent. I am a fuckhead. Fuckhead. I am not a musician. I take other people's music, and I call myself a musician when I'm really a fake." And so he does his thing, and everyone's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm falling asleep, okay?" And then it's time for the poor bass player to keep, thousands of Germans awake. The drummer gets a solo. What a waste of time. And there's Arik, and let the girls, and they're just waiting for Macy to wake up. I am standing next to Moby. I'm there with Moby, and I'm like, "So what the fuck?" He's like, "I don't know, man." And we're just like, we're just watching little Macy having a little lie down, okay? This is like 40 minutes into their 60-minute set. A road manager comes over. "Hey! Wake up and sing the hit!" She gets up there and leaves. They do like a 42-minute set out of 60 possible minutes, and the band is like, "And we're playing," and the singer's gone back to the bus. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Mason Gray Funk Show. I was like, "Oh, I'm just glad it's over, okay? Put Moby on. Hurry up, please." And Moby went on, and the place went apeshit. And yeah, he's cool. But it's just really amazing to see what people are getting away with and calling music. And then you hear, "Oh, Kiss is gonna play," and everyone makes fun of them. "Oh, why do you want to see Kiss? A bunch of stupid old men with hair plugs." Well, the stupid old men with hair plugs kicked the ass off every band I played with last summer. They just blew them off stage. And it gives me a lot of inspiration to see old men out there just beating the crap out of all these hip bands who sell 7 million records a day. And it just made me understand the truth. You never, ever have to burn out. You know, you can be like 500 years old, and if you still are in love with what you do, you never have to act old, you never have to compromise, you never have to get mediocre, you never have to slow down. Because there's some people, have you ever met that person who retires when they're like 24 years old? They're 24 and they get all conservative and dismissive, and they don't want to see anything, they don't want to know anything new, they get in their little rut, and they act like little old men. And they haven't even done anything yet. And then you meet some wild 65-year-old bohemian, you know, like who's just into all this crazy stuff. Here, listen to this. Let's go see that. And they wear you out. You're 20 years younger than them, and they make you tired because they have so much energy. Like, what are you doing sleeping? Come on, the sun's coming up. Let's go watch. And you're like, fuck, get the fuck away from me. I want to be one of those people. Because I don't want to go into that, everything sucks, I hate my job, my town is boring, ooh. And that's why I travel as much as possible to go into the world and interface with different cultures and see different places to try to eradicate myself from bullshit and ignorance, which I'm full of, as you can, you know, easily realize. But the more you travel, the more you go out into the world and poke your head into other places, the less bullshit you'll tolerate. Because if you hear what some people say, oh, don't go over there, that country's a bunch of dicks. Like you hear people ripping on the French. The poor French always get, you know, slammed. You go to England, you like the French, oh, fuck the French. Then you'd never want to go to France, because all you hear is, oh, the French are a bunch of rude motherfuckers. Or are they? Or are the people who went to France a bunch of rude motherfuckers? Who go, hey, Garcon, hey, Snail Boy, come here. You know, how would you react if someone said that to you? You'd be a fuck you know? And I don't know what your experience of France has been. I've been there well over 40 times in my life. I am in love with France. The food, the culture, the country. It's an amazing place. People are cool to me because I'm polite. Like, I'm sorry, I don't speak French. Can you help me? Of course I can, you silly American. I speak many languages. I suppose you want some French fries with ketchup. You all like ketchup and bullets and fake tits. But you know what I mean. You go to these places and you see for yourself, and you realize that the stereotypes are bullshit, and everything you heard on the news was bullshit. And you really got to see it for yourself. And that's why I travel a lot. And I take my hat off to you, a big bravo to Australians, because no matter what funky third world country I hike through on a yearly basis, I always find some Australian nut job who's been there for 6 months. Okay? Yeah, I swear to God, I am not just trying to kiss your ass. You are the brave bounders of adventure. I am so impressed. Like, I'll be going through like some weird part of Kenya, or like I was in Madagascar, like where you're like in the city of Antananarivo, like the capital city of Madagascar. When the sun goes down, you have to watch your ass. I mean, even the Hilton has barbed wire fencing around it and armed guards. It's a gnarly part of the world. Australians are out, just like walking in the streets. How you going? Woo-hoo-hoo! You go to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where it's like every day is like, ha! Come on, you fuckers. I mean, it's a really tough town. And I'm like, oh, don't hurt me. There's Australians hanging out in all the local bars. I've been here for a year. Woo-hoo-hoo! So you guys, you get out and you see stuff. I think that's one of the reasons why your country is so unbelievably hard to bullshit, because you guys get out and you see it. And that's what I try and do. And last year, I got out to 2 new countries that I hadn't been to before. I got out to Tunisia in the north of Africa, and I went to India. And I know that geographically, you guys are kind of down the street from India, and a lot of you have gone. And it took me a long time to finally get there. India baited me from a very far distance. Hello, Henry. How come you don't come to visit me? Like, and I had no real good excuse. I really want to see India. Then show up. Pussy boy, pussy, pussy. And so finally I got over there last year, and I spent like 5 or 6 days wandering around Bengal and Calcutta. And I saw like a million amazing things. It's easily the most beautiful country I've ever been to. And the hardest core thing that I saw, besides the burning of the bodies on the funeral pyres, it's weird to watch an old man's face burn off his skull. That was different. I mean, what? Are they torching people on your streets? I mean, yeah, we do it in America, but you're really, you know, the cameras aren't always rolling on that. That's Ohio. I don't live near there. But you know what I mean? It's just different. And there I am watching Old Man Jenkins on fire, like, holy shit. And so anyway, I saw all this amazing stuff, and the thing that was the hardest to take was coming out of every restaurant, train station, train, hotel lobby, and being assaulted by like 1 to 10 of the most beautiful kids you've ever seen. These beautiful, like 5-year-old angels, and they got an eye missing or an arm missing or a leg missing. They're professional beggars, and they work the streets. And they come hobbling up, hopping up, showing you a stump or an eye socket or an amputated leg. And they go, hello, hello, hello. And like the most beautiful kids you've ever seen, except they're all maimed, and they all want rupees. And they're all being watched over by this woman who takes the money from them and gives it to her pimp. So it's this whole street operation. And every once in a while, they roll out the old superstar beggar, the guy who used to panhandle George Harrison back in the day. And he's missing 2 legs, both arms, and his tongue is hacked off. He's like, And so everywhere you go, you see beautiful kids who are hacked up. And one kid came crawling up, no legs. He's pulling himself up the aisle of a train somewhere near like Bolpur, near Bengal. And he's just like, pulling himself up, and he's like pulling on my leg, hello, hello, this big, beautiful smile and no legs. I ran the complete gamut of emotions. I felt sad, I felt repulsed, I felt guilty. I wanted to take them home with me. I wanted to kill the motherfuckers who did this to these kids. You do the whole thing. And so I got back from there, back to LA, and I started really tripping on India, because everywhere I went, everyone is like really hungry. And they're all like, just ribs are sticking out. And you go up to them, you're like, what's the matter, you dumb Indian motherfuckers? Why don't you eat some food? And they, we would, but you fat American pigs have eaten everything. Because when you go back to like America and the West, we're all like big fat bastards, and we eat way too much food. We're in restaurants like, how much more can I shove into my face? Oh, I think I'm gonna puke. No, you can do it here in this bowl. Keep on eating, eat more. Throw 4 pounds of great food away in the trash. With what we throw away, we could feed third world countries. And I'm not trying to get on a soapbox. He says, oh, I know you know this, but you go there and you see this stuff firsthand. For me, I never will think about food the same again. And I got back to America, I'm looking at all these supermarkets with all this food. I'm like, man, how much of this is really gonna get eaten? And those kids really did a number on me. And it took me about 6 months to realize they were really beautiful. And there's nothing beautiful about a hacked up kid. But people go like, so what was the most incredible part you saw of India? I said, oh, the hacked up beggar kids. They're like, you're fucked, man. I go, no. And here's what was beautiful about it, and it sounds really strange, but here are people who are so thoroughly woven into the tapestry of life that they will hack an arm or a leg off or gouge an eye out to stay alive. And that's someone who's really in love with life. They're gonna rip a limb off to live. Now, if I put it to you as a hypothetical, would you hack a leg off to live? Well, yes, you would. It's a hypothetical. But can you ever imagine a situation in this country where you would have to hack off a leg to get by? Hell no. You can't imagine it. It is not possible that anyone in here or any of your friends or family are ever going to have to maim themselves, hack off an arm, a leg, or gouge an eye out to eat. That's never, ever going to happen in this country. It's never going to happen in my country. In India, it is a definite possibility. So that's where you go there, and you might as well be on Mars. People are living life really intensely. And it makes me think that a lot of times we get away with hardly ever really digging in and really seeing what life is all about and seeing the real teeth of it, because we're so insulated by money, resources, and a really good life. And what do? Feel guilty about it? Go starve yourself? Fuck no. Big waste of time. But what can you do? Be more considerate of other people and be more considerate of yourself. It seems to me all these places with all the money, all we do is poison ourselves. We eat the worst food, we watch the worst television, we lay around, we're apathetic, we smoke, drink, shitty food, and here are people starving to death, and all they eat is like vegetables, fruit. They eat the real shit, and they're just so low to the ground. It makes me think that we're all like Nero fiddling as our cities burn. And having all these resources, why would you want to hurt yourself? And why would you want to hurt anybody else when you have this beautiful filament of life burning through you, when you see how hardcore these people are going through day to day just to hang on? And that was the revelation of India to me, that, here we are, all alive at the same time. Some people got it really shitty, some people got it really good. What are you going to do about that? Be the king or queen of depression, or be strong enough to be joyful and realize what you've got and spread that around and make everything around you a better situation. Kind of a strange sentiment coming from a bitter old curmudgeon like myself. Maybe in the last 2 hours I've turned myself around. In any case, thank you for sitting very still while I went on and on and on. You've been wonderful to me, as you always are. Thanks. Good night. See you next time.